Eddie Dowling Highway, North Smithfield. Call Kara at 401-765-5000.
Sunny skies and breezy today for the first day of Autumn Fest. High of 68 degrees and a northwest breeze up to 35 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies, overnight low of 37. Sunday's weather, a 40% chance of a shower late in the day, increasing clouds all day, high of 53. Less than 1/10 of an inch of rain is possible. Sunday night, 80% chance of showers after 9 p.m., low of 47 degrees, and between 1/4 and 1/2 an inch of rain is possible overnight Sunday. Columbus Day, Monday, last day of Autumn Fest and Parade Day. Showers are possible before 2 p.m., high of 60 degrees, a north wind up to 25 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunshine and 54. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 53. Thursday's weather, sunny and 57. And next Friday, sunny and 62.
And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 62.2 sunny degrees on this beautiful Autumn Fest weekend. Good morning. You are in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. Patrick, good morning and happy Saturday. Happy Autumn Fest weekend to you.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Doing great.
It's a little chilly out.
A little chilly. It's warmed up.
It's warmed up.
62.2 degrees.
It's a little chilly.
A little chilly. You got the vest going. I had the jacket. Now down to the short sleeve shirt. But all right, let's jump right into it. As we starting off every show with local happenings, and then we'll get into some baseball, some Patriots, and some Bruin stuff. But right away, last night heard here on WOON, Brendan and I, the Salem, New Hampshire Blue Devils, who trailed Cumberland 22-12 at the half, storms back for a 25-22 final in Cumberland last night. Cumberland now 2-3. They were ranked number 5 in the RPI. I think they're gonna have to win out the rest of their games, which is going to be on the road mostly. If they want that coveted top 4 spot to compete in the Super Bowl, they'll still qualify for a playoff. They got a great opponents rating. They'll definitely finish in the top 8, and they'll just have to play. Basically, it's the difference between the FBS of college football, the top 4, and the FCS, sure, where your URI and Brown and Bryant all compete in that sub-series. So Cumberland will make a playoff, and they'll compete very well. They got a very good team, but last night's game hurt them. Salem now has won 4 games in a row, and not to get into Salem, New Hampshire too much, but they got this kid, Kevin Tedesco, who came into the game through 5 games, had rushed for 880 yards. Clearly, he's over 1,000 yards now. Picked up his 13th and 14th touchdown on the season. As a team, they rushed for over 300 yards per game. But enough of Salem, New Hampshire. Great game on ON last night. If you joined us, very exciting on senior night.
Yeah, and in the Friday night rivalry that was on the Turn to 10.
Turn210.com.
Smithfield on their new turf field took on North Smithfield with both teams 2-2 and needing wins to stay in the top 8 to qualify for the Division 4 playoffs. Smithfield rolled to a 32-7 win.
Yeah, Brendan pulled up that game last night that we were looking at it, and 30-10. Not knowing much about the game, but you just see the score and you immediately go, hey. Okay. Big matchup today. It's 4-1 Burrillville looks to get back on track after falling to St. Ray's last week. They travel to Barry Field to take on the 1-3 Woonsocket Villanovans. That game is set to begin at noon. St. Ray's, again, we don't usually talk about St. Ray's too much. They almost had a huge upset loss. They're undefeated. They're ranked number 2 in the RPI behind Hendricken. They played 1-3 Division II Tolman last night and won 14-12. A game I think they were trailing, or it was 7-6. I think it was 7-6 at the half. So St. Ray's maybe looking past their opponent, hung on for a 14-12. Next Saturday, we do not have a high school game today due to Autumn Fest. Next Saturday, we will have Woonsocket here on ON as they host Shea.
And 2-1 Lincoln travels to 1-3 Johnston today at noon. Lincoln should handle Johnston and improve to 3-1. I think they're a little bit overmatched Johnston will be today.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit we know about that. We covered Lincoln. Lincoln's strong. And Johnston, Division 3, Lincoln got bumped to Division 2. Kind of two teams this year, maybe just going in different directions. But look no further than St. Ray's Tolman for the almost anything can happen. Locally, college football, 4-1. URI, currently ranked number 21. I've also seen that they're ranked 19, so anywhere between 19 and 21. Hosts the 2-1 Brown Bears in the annual Governor's Cup game. Brown losers last week to Bryant in a shootout, 42-35. Really missing out on the golden opportunity to jump into the top 25 themselves. URI last week with a 46-44 double overtime thriller last week versus Hampton. That game for the Governor's Cup down in URI starting at 1 o'clock today.
And Brian, as mentioned moments ago, the huge win over Brown last week improved to 2-3 on the season. They travel to the University of Alabama. Actually,
they're hosting.
Alabama travels here.
Albany. Did I write
yeah.
Alabama?
No. Yeah. University of Albany, which is in New York, travels here to Barron Stadium at Bryant. They are the Great Danes.
The Great Danes of
The
Albany.
Great Danes are also 2-3, so it's a big CAA matchup for both teams. I believe they played last year, and Albany it was 43-3.
Wow.
So Bryant's looking to come back. First game in the CAA against them. Hopefully they fare a little bit better than last season.
That sounds like an Alabama score, 43-3. Than Albany.
It's early.
It is early. More coffee. Boston College 4-2 on the season, has the week off after falling to Virginia 24-14 last week. Next up for them Thursday night, they travel to Virginia Tech. That game will be on ESPN at 7:30 Thursday night. So a bye week, yes, but a half a week coming up. Important for Boston College. They want to get, they're not going to challenge for a championship, but they want a good bowl, maybe a New Year's bowl. It'll be good for them not to lose that game. A good opportunity to win on the road against 3-3 Virginia Tech.
And then moving over to the local professional soccer team, Rhode Island FC, with 3 games left. They're currently in 6th place. Standings, they're so tight, as you mentioned. Like, we go back and forth on this.
Yes.
With only one team out of the 12 eliminated from the playoffs. Louisville, they're in 1st place. They're just about mathematically locked up first with 69 points. Charleston Battery, they've pretty much locked up 2nd place, but pretty much Detroit in 3rd, Indy in 4th, Tampa, and so on and so on. I mean, it's tight. So RIFC could finish anywhere from 3rd to outside. I don't foresee that happening.
I don't think they'll go.
They're going to lock. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll lock up. But they take on Loudoun today. Loudoun is currently in 9th place. They need to win, so I'm sure they're going to be on their A game. So they play actually tomorrow at Bryant at 4 p.m.
And in from an RISC point of view, their schedule with only 3 games left in the season, the schedule actually kind of benefits them. Yeah. They got a team that's below them tomorrow. They go to that 2nd place team that's going to be locked in. They can't budge out of the 2nd place, so you wonder if that team would be playing their reserves more in the game. And then they finish up against the lowly Miami team, which I mean, that when you got 11 out of 12 teams at 37 points and higher, and Miami's stuck down at like 11 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much.
Tough season for them.
Yeah, it's terrible. But a little update just came out the other day on the Rhode Island FC home stadium over at Tidewater Landing. Initially, the goal was to receive a certificate of occupancy by March 13th and complete the project on April 25th. Now the full certificate of occupancy is scheduled for April 4th, and project completion is slated for June 11th. The project completion, that's all well and good. I think what RIFC is most concerned about is a certificate of occupancy so they can start scheduling the games. March 13th, it would not have been an issue based on their schedule. April 4th, all things being equal, based on this year's schedule, automatically means that their very first 3 games of the season will be on the road. Most likely, yeah. So game 4, based on this year's schedule. Game 4 could be a potential home opener, so hopefully no more delays because you still got the weather of the winter coming up, and you don't want to open up with an 8-game road trip. And when we had the RIFC president on, he made no mention of playing any games at Bryant next year. So I think they've started selling their season tickets. They started putting the seats down. So things are looking good.
And everything looks like ticket sales are going well. I mean, they're selling out certain sections. So moving on, Providence Bruins opened up their season last night. They did lose to the Laval Rockets 5-2.
Any idea who they're? I'm sorry. Any idea who they're with? I've never even heard of the Laval
I believe
Rockets.
they were Montreal. I think
Oh,
it's
really?
Montreal's
Oh, okay.
team, yeah. So it was last night at the Amica Mutual Pavilion. Forward Vinny Lettieri and Patrick Brown found the back of the net in the first period. Defenseman Jordan Osterley, who I thought was kind of on the line of making it with the Bruins, he did have 2 assists last night, and Brandon Bussey stopped 34 of 39 shots. They are on the road today against Bridgeport at 7 p.m. tonight.
And just a quick note on something about Brandon Bussey. I know he's a prospect. I know he's got good size. Just a limited time I saw him in training camp. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. And I don't know. I wasn't at the game obviously last night. He did face 39 shots, but he did let 5 in. No empty netters there. Yeah. So I'm nervous.
I think maybe that kind of solidifies why they wanted to get a goalie back. Maybe that's not why they wanted Corpusalo back in that deal. I don't think they really had a choice, but I think they were kind of like, well, we'll take him, I guess, because maybe they're not really sure if he's ready to play, 25, 30 games.
And he did have good numbers at Providence Bruin. And I don't hate to be that guy that makes a giant leap after one game.
and they're out there.
And I try really hard not to be that guy.
Yeah.
but it's so 0-1 for the Providence Bruins. I got some good prospects down there as well. Always a good time out there. I'm sure they banged the place out. I did not catch an attendance, but I'm sure they had 10,000 for opening night at the Amp. All right, so we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to touch on some baseball playoffs. We want to touch on a quick Red Sox note, which we can have a little bit of fun with, I think. The Patriots as well, and the Bruins coming up over the next few segments. We want to hear from you. 401-766-1240. You're in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin here on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, and OneSocketRadio.com. We'll be back right after these messages.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ON is always on.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
What does it mean that our customers are our owners? It means that we don't have shareholders like a bank. We have owners, like you. And though we don't have traditional shareholders, we do share. We share values, expectations, and yes, profits, in the form of better rates, lower fees, and dividends. Our customers are our owners. Our owners are our customers. Come join us. Navigate Credit Union.
Kitchen trends for 2024 want to make your cooking space feel more special. From textured tiles to rounded stone islands to porcelain countertops, Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center can show you these and more. Visit CumberlandKitchen.com or stop in and see Kevin and his team at their showroom in the McDonald's Plaza on Mendon Road, Cumberland, right off Route 295. Turning a house into a home, your home, Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
When you have an emergency leak, or maybe even worse, a fire, remember this name, 24 Restore. Say it again, 24 Restore. You may not need them today, or next week, or even a month from now, but at some point when you do, it's got to be 24 Restore. 24 Restore is the leading full-service restoration partner for commercial and residential properties throughout New England. When you need water mitigation, fire restoration, or even mold remediation, 24 Restore is your one-stop shop for all of your restoration needs. They'll handle it all seamlessly with your insurance company, so you don't have to worry. So remember, 24 Restore New England, they're there when you need them, 24/7, 365 days a year, at 1-855-280-3060, or via the web at 24restorene.com.
ON AM and FM.
And welcome back. You are in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin here on ON Radio. Pat, something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. Just two other quick local things. Providence College men's hockey team. They are ranked 13th in the country. So they go on the road today. They're playing 13th ranked North Dakota. That is in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame game at 7 p.m. Then they open up next Friday and Saturday at home at Schneider Arena against Arizona State. So tickets are selling out fast for all of their home games. We talked about this Wednesday on our podcast. It's a great take if you get a chance to get out there. I usually go to all the, anytime UMass comes into town, I go. And then the other local news, local boy Cumberland's own Tyler Kolek made his NBA debut in preseason action this past week. He dropped 11 points in 15 minutes last Sunday in a 111-109 victory over Charlotte. And then on Wednesday, he came back with 15 points, 5 assists in 17 minutes in a 117-94 win over the Washington Wizards. So I think Tyler is certainly on his way to making the team. I think he's already probably, has cemented his place there. So good luck to him. Good numbers he's putting up so far in the preseason and in a short amount of minutes too. So
yeah, I mean, obviously local boy doing well, yeah. And we talked before the show. We talked when when he got drafted and then traded on day after draft day. I mean, he looks like he's with those numbers already, he's played himself right onto the team.
Yeah,
so
I would think so.
I don't think he'll be in the G League or.
Yeah, he played well in the summer league, and he's continuing over here. So the Knicks, I'm sure they're happy to have him.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to touch on some baseball right now. If you have any thoughts on anything that we've talked about so far, you want to talk local, that's fine. You want to talk national, that's fine too. 766-1240, 401-766-1240. Baseball, the Mets and Yankees had punched their tickets to the League Championship Series earlier this week. Dodgers last night with a 2-0 win over San Diego. They advanced to the League Championship Series. And today's Cleveland-Detroit game, if you hadn't heard, originally scheduled for, technically 8:08 after your little 8-minute pregame show, has been moved to 1:08 because of inclement weather coming in. So if you had plans to watch that deciding game at 8 o'clock tonight, put your plans over at 1 o'clock to watch that game. The winner advances to take on the Yankees. And Pat, really quick, on the Dodgers-Padres series, boy, was I torn. I do not root for the Dodgers. I'm not a big fan of the Dodgers. I don't hate them like I hate the Yankees. So on the surface, I like the Padres. I like Don Orsillo, the broadcaster, because of his time here locally. I got nothing against the Padres, but I do not like Manny Machado, and that's got nothing to do with the way he threw the ball towards the Dodgers dugout, which I think was really overblown.
Yeah.
I mean, Ken Rosenthal even wrote an article about it. He got banned from the Padres dugout for a game on Fox, which I thought was hilarious. But Manny Machado, I just couldn't root for him. So this was a tough series to root for last night.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you gotta go to what's the best World Series you're looking for, and I think ultimately, at this point, you have no choice. It's either Dodgers, Mets, obviously.
Right.
And do I want to see a Mets?
You want
Yankees,
the Subway Series?
Or do I want to see a Dodgers, Yankees, or
Right.
or whoever comes out of here? I mean, Detroit. It's a winner take all today. They got Tarek Skubal on the mound, who is lights out right now.
I thought before the playoffs began, maybe a couple weeks before, I thought Cleveland was a shoe-in to be facing maybe the Yankees in the LCS. The way Detroit's been playing, second half of the year, they're playing like 667 baseball.
Yeah.
The second half of the year, they're playing incredible. But MLB, as much as a Subway Series, sounds kind of neat, and it's been done before. It does exclude most of the country. I can't imagine the folks
MLB
in
wants it.
Arizona
Yeah,
cares about
the
a New
two
York,
big
New York,
markets,
right?
New York, LA, Judge,
Right.
Otani.
Bottom line is, there it is.
There's a money maker.
MLB, look, I'm not that guy either to say these games are fixed. There's no fix. There's no other than Tim Donaghy in the NBA, but there is no fix as far as the referees, the umps. They don't care who wins. However, MLB, if you go into their office, give them some truth serum, they want Dodgers Yankees. It's as old school as it gets. And now both teams with stars, Otani, Mookie Betts, then you got Giancarlo Stanton, Garrett Cole, obviously Aaron Judge. I mean, you had two people that were in Otani and Judge that were legitimately fighting for the Triple Crown this year.
Well, let's just. I mean, I'm not going to step out on a limb and say this, but I mean, Judge is no Reggie Jackson.
He doesn't have the charisma.
He's not putting up, but he has not put up huge numbers in the playoffs.
No.
So this is for him. This is like he got to step up here.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't care what you do in the regular season.
Exactly.
Hit 58 home runs and bat 3 something, and
this is the time. This is when you cement your legacy is in the postseason.
now you got a guy like Stanton who's like crushing the ball right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who does nothing during the regular season, and
Who was
but yet
supposed
he's
to
the
who was
third
supposed to do
highest
stuff.
OPS in Yankee history.
Right, that's
the playoffs,
crazy.
which is
that's crazy. I didn't know that. But yeah, no. I mean, when you hear you bring up Reggie Jackson, what do you think of? It's still brought up from 1977. 3 home runs on 3 pitches. And, people are still talking about that here 50
As
years
they say,
later.
right?
And-
The old they don't boo nobodies.
Exactly. The straw that stirs the drink. So great game on tap for this afternoon in Cleveland and Detroit. Tomorrow starts the NLCS, and Monday starts the ALCS. So after Cleveland and Detroit, winner, I believe, goes to New York, and the Mets are in Los Angeles. I believe for tomorrow's.
I do have to say this.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the MLB, like what they play, these games are moving.
Yeah.
Right. NBA, it's like every third day, every other day is off.
That's a great point.
But
Yeah.
hockey is not as bad, but
No, they
and
they
I
have the
get it.
scheduled days off,
But-
sometimes 2,
But
right?
MLB, I'm like, oh, we're already
They're
in
cruising.
here.
Yeah. If this was they moved today's game, 7 hours up because of bad weather, and winner knows they're going to New York, basically no break, just to get a quick hotel stay, and they start the series right away. It's I think it's well done. What are your thoughts? We didn't put this in the notes, so again, put you on the spot. Dave Roberts doesn't like the break for the teams. He doesn't like the bye week in baseball for the teams that aren't in the LDS. And I think it was last year, none of the teams with a bye made it through to the next round. And some teams struggled this year with the bye. Does he have a point? And then what do you do to rectify it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can certainly understand, it being it's different, right? They don't have to deal with that outside of the All-Star break,
right?
Where
so every team is on a break.
But every team is on a break,
right?
So yeah, it certainly puts the teams that finish with the bye at a somewhat of a disadvantage.
I mean,
unless they're coming into this playoffs with some injuries that they can get guys back, but
when you got a Garrett Cole on opening day who's upset that his rhythm is disturbed because the national anthem was played 5 minutes later than what he was expecting. These guys are all based not endearing himself to the fans by doing that either. But now you got teams that are so used to baseball, so used to timing, so used to routine. Now giving them 5 days off in between series. I can see it. So I think one of the, they'll never take away playoff teams because of the money.
Right.
I wonder now, if they add even 2 more playoff teams
And just do away with
and do away with the bye. Yeah, it cuts into the pitching staff, but you know what? We saw it the other day. I think Detroit used 7 pitchers in a 9-inning game, or
Well,
6
I could
pitchers.
see it going
so.
in that direction before I'd see them coming up with some other scenario where they.
I can't see another scenario, and I think because I do like that the wild card is 2 out of 3, the division's 3 out of 5. Robertson mentioned maybe moving that to going 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7. You don't want to go too late into November. They're already starting in March.
Then if they do that, then the Red Sox make the playoffs this year.
It doesn't say all the teams necessarily should be in.
Right.
And then maybe you run the risk of an under 500 team, which should actually happen once in football, an under 500 team making the playoffs. But just something to think about. You have any thoughts on that? Give us a call, 401-766-1240. But it is interesting. The All-Star break's the only break, but everybody has a break.
Yeah.
And the All-Star game's it's not a real game, and they're not doing their regular timing. You brought up the Red Sox, and I gotta laugh. They fired 6 coaches. They fired their first base / infield coach, Andy Fox. Disclaimer: I've never heard of any of these people.
Right.
They fired their bullpen coach, Kevin Walker. Their assistant hitting coach, Louis Ortiz. Their mental skills coach, Ray Fuentes. Their trainer, Ben Chadwick, and their bullpen catcher, Manny Martinez. What do you think with these firings? And they're going to now make the World Series next year, because that's obviously the dead weight there that's been holding down this Red Sox team.
Yeah, I
don't get it.
I didn't even hear. I mean, I only heard about this because you brought it up. So I'm assuming it's news that's just flying under the radar. Everybody deals with it, letting go of coaches, and
I think
you
it's
see them
news
pop
because
up in other teams, but
they
it's
fired
6 of them. Yeah,
if
that
they
seems a
fired
lot.
just 1 or
And the fact that
2,
you're even hearing about all of these people, the assistant hitting coach and the mental skills, it's like, okay, well,
the bullpen catcher. I used to know a bullpen catcher with the Pawtucket Red Sox. He was a graduate of Cumberland High.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just there catching. He's the bullpen catcher. I mean,
I have not a buddy. I mean, an acquaintance of mine I know through someone else who's lives in Mass. I want to say it was his nephew was a bullpen catcher for the Red Sox.
oh, really?
And it was basically like, you made a little bit of money.
Yeah.
and
Get to watch the games.
Guy threw, basically the pitchers would throw him
Right.
cash on the side as their bonus. And, if he was lucky, he'd get this or that, or, that type of thing. So it's, I can't imagine the bullpen catcher costing the season.
I just
I don't want
laugh.
to minimize the mental skill, the mental coach,
No.
because I'm sure there's something to that to be said.
But I don't want to go down that whole road. But I'm assuming some players went to him and they like us. So now you might be risking upsetting some players, because now you're going to build a trust with a new mental skills coach. And to be fair, I don't know what the mental skills coach does except almost be like a psychologist for the team.
Get Andy Fox, who's the infield coach and first base coach. Well, I mean, they were second to last in defense this year, so
it could be the players, though, not the coach.
well, you got to start somewhere.
I guess so.
You can't fire all the players.
So right,
What they always say,
you can't fire
all the players.
But apparently, you can fire all the coaches.
Yeah.
It's okay.
There's 6 of them.
When we come back, we're going to jump into the Patriots before we jump into the Bruins. We got some Drake May time that we need to get into, and the 1-4 Patriots. Okay, 1-16 Patriots. So, okay, you're in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin here on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, OneSocketRadio.com. We'll be back right after this.
Join the Coffee and Panel weekday mornings at 8 on ON Radio.
Bad accidents happen to good people. John Brian of the Brian Law Group can help if you've been injured in an accident. The Brian Law Group handles personal injury cases on a contingent fee basis. You do not pay anything unless they secure money for you through a jury award or insurance settlement. When choosing a lawyer, go with someone you know, someone local. Choose John Brian of the Brian Law Group. Call 401-597-5565, 597-5565.
Lincoln and North Smithfield Urgent Care Centers are Northern Rhode Island's modern comprehensive urgent cares devoted to the best family health care available. They have board-certified doctors on their staff who will make you feel safe, comfortable, and reassured, especially when you're in doubt and concerned about the severity of your discomfort. Both centers feature on-site labs and x-ray facilities, as well as drug screens, complete physicals, flu shots, occupational medicine, including workers' comp and free blood screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, 594 Great Road, North Smithfield, 768-3400. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 8 and Saturday 9 to 5. Lincoln Urgent Care, located across from Lincoln Mall, 333-9595. Open weekdays 9 to 9, Saturday and Sunday 9 to 5. You do have a choice.
The last thing you need is more stress. So at Micho's Auto Body, they handle the complete claim for you. Check their website to see the 13 actual steps they take to make your experience stress-free. You'll also see a complete photo gallery showing you the detailed and technical process necessary to accommodate new car construction and metallic paints. Micho's Auto Body, 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
A new garage door can have a major effect on the appearance of your property. When you're ready, call Andy Bebo at Woonsocket Door Sales, in business since 1935. Woonsocket Door Sales installs and repairs all makes of doors and openers, as well as broken springs and cables. Service includes installation and free disposal of the old door. Woonsocket Door Sales, 767-3448. Office located at 1 Biltmore Avenue, Cumberland. Reputation is important.
Hi folks, this is Tom Marshall, founder of Marshall Building and Remodeling. You know, when it comes to choosing a roofing, siding, or window company for your home, you need to protect yourself from inexperience, unfair prices, and shoddy work. The best way to do that is to call Marshall. We'll give you honest advice and a fair price. Then you decide. With Marshall, there's no money down, great warranties, and the best work and service available, period. Make your home beautiful with Marshall. Visit us at marshallbr.com, and remember, we are your local roofing, siding, and window people.
And you are in the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin. We pivot over to football. Greg in Connecticut, if you're listening, I just want to throw this out to you, and Pat, again, feel free to chime in as always. I just wonder how you're feeling about Aaron Rodgers promoting himself to head coach this week, and Robert Saleh fired, because that always happens with the Jets. They always fire their coach mid-season with a 2-3 record. So, we haven't heard from Greg since they beat the Patriots several weeks ago. Just wanted to get your thoughts on head coach Aaron Rodgers. You don't see too many player coaches, Pat, in football. Your thoughts on that firing?
No, I mean, they say he's not calling the shots, but I don't think anything happens without them talking to him. So.
Oh, we do have a caller on the line. Hold on one second. Hello, is the caller there?
This is Scott, yes?
Who is it?
This is Scott.
Oh, hi, Scott. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Oh, no, I just wanted to ask something, but no, I think I got the wrong.
What's that?
We gave the wrong number.
Okay. Wrong number.
Got us all excited. We thought we had a caller. Wrong number.
We called
out. Naka Naka Pizza.
Oh, that happens. And hey, that just proves we're alive. Okay.
That's right. But yeah, I don't think anything happens here without Rodgers knowing, or at least being in the loop. All
right, we're going to try one more time, and we'll see you. Somebody is calling. Hello, you're on the air.
Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, Moose, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Pat. How are you?
Hey, Moose. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. So just calling in, checking in for the world of sports, and let me see, where shall we begin briefly? So we're throwing out Mr. Drake May to the Wolves.
Yes, we were just about to get to that. What do you think?
Well, if anything, if there is this chance, at least he has the threat of a deep ball. If we can get receivers open, there's so many minuses and negatives on this team, especially in offense. They are so weak in all areas. You can't keep running the ball all the time. Teams will exploit that, even though they've had mild success running it, but very mild because they're not scoring.
Right. I mean, Ramondre had the 33-yard touchdown run last week, and he's out this week.
He's out this week.
Oh, he's officially out?
Yeah, he's officially out.
Oh, my goodness.
And
That's all we need.
the rest of the injured list, they should have just released who's not injured because everybody else is just the whole team's listed as questionable.
Pat, suit up. Pat, suit up.
Put me in, Coach.
He's ready to play.
All right. I mean,
Not center field either.
at this point, I mean, I don't blame them. Just get him on the field, let him play. You got all these other rookie quarterbacks out there playing. So.
I mean, I had heard, Moose, I had heard that Caleb Jones has been sacked 17 times this year. That's the same number as Jacoby Brissett. And I also heard the Patriots, believe it or not, like they were 8th in the league in how quickly they had time to like release the ball. Some like next generation stat thing. So they are giving some time. So now I think it actually became an issue of not just the offensive line failing Jacoby Brissett, but then Jacoby Brissett, when he had time, failing himself. And I think it's got to be the perfect time for Drake May with zero expectations against a Houston team that destroyed Buffalo last week.
Look, I agree, guys. Totally, it's time to put something in. Time for a change. Because we're not getting anywhere with Brissett. So
no.
Let's put the kid in. Is it a panic mood to put him in now because of what's going on with Brissett? You know how he's not producing.
I'll tell you my opinion, Moose. I think it's a little bit of everything, but I think this is we were just going to get to this topic. This is let's make this move because we have Jabril Peppers, who is under allegations of beating up his girlfriend and having controlled B substance. Now, I don't expect him to be on the team much longer, but I think this was let's get something else out in the news so we don't have to really approach this topic.
Yeah, and let's put that Peppers thing to the side.
Yeah. But again, I think it was a perfect segue.
Football. And Drake May, would break the barrier of the news, Okay, let's look forward to that. Not what's happening to Peppers.
Control the narrative.
Yeah, the control. I disagree with Pat a little bit. I don't think Jabril Peppers has that name recognition to drive the narrative. However, if they were going to do it this week, next week, or the week after, to his point, I think, you know what? Let's just put in Drake May.
Just
anyway,
just a negative impact that
Yeah, let's just eliminate that.
Hey, Moose, we have a caller on the other line. We're gonna. So, any other last thoughts, or are you good?
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers! All right, there it is.
Scooble on the mound.
Scooble, I think, is the best pitcher in the league.
Yep, no earned runs in 13 innings.
I don't know what he's going to do today, but he's a joy to watch.
All right,
sure.
All right, thanks for the call,
guys.
Moose.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Too. Hello, you're on the air. We can do this. Hello. Okay, I'm struggling here. Okay. If you just called and I hung up on you, please call back.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Happens to the talking heads up in Boston.
Yep,
I hear it all the time. The #1 rated show in Boston, they hang up on that caller. So
we're gonna work on these interns.
We're working on it, but yeah, please call back. But I think. I don't think it's, like I said, it's a huge of a narrative. Now, Jabril Peppers, I think actually what happens to him during the Patriots bye week, I think he just gets released. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. We'll do that. And hello, you're on the air.
Kevin.
Hey. Who's calling?
Steve from Douglas.
Oh, hey.
Steve from Douglas.
Steve from Douglas.
Hey, stop hanging up on me, and I hope I have the right number.
You are. What size pizza, sir?
I'll take 2 large pepperoni.
All right. What's up?
I was hearing about this kind of Drake May conversation, and this is totally coming from the owner. He is trying to deflect, distract all the bad blood that he has going on with his team. So it's an absolute right thing to do.
So you think it's not just Jabril Peppers? You think it's everything associated with the team, and he's trying to change not just Jabril Peppers, which is bad, horrible news. I don't want to sugarcoat it, but everything negative about the team. He thinks
everything. He wants to change the whole trajectory. He wants everybody talking about Drake May, and he probably wants to cut Brissett to save some money because he doesn't spend any money. So but let's go down that road as well. So, but yeah, the Patriots are in year 5 of what I like to call playing and running an organization like the Jets. So this is waiting for a couple of months.
You know, the Jets haven't won since '69, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's
this is a total Drake May situation. I'm looking forward to it. It's hard to watch, but yeah, young quarterback. Let's play him and
go Pats.
Have some fun at least watching the games.
And just keep in mind too, when Drake May plays, that Troy Aikman struggled, Peyton Manning struggled. I mean, we cannot expect miracles. This Houston team shut down Buffalo last week.
As far as I'm concerned, we're playing for the Travis Hunter sweepstake.
In what position does he play?
Whatever he wants.
Wherever he wants.
He's going to play both ways.
Okay.
No, Pat, you're right. He's a cornerback, and he's a
cornerback, wide receiver,
and wide receiver.
And he basically told Colorado it would take $40 million from them to keep him from going into the draft. So.
Yeah, wow. I mean, here's the great thing. I mean, we're one of those organizations that's talking about the draft in October, right? So it kind of stinks.
It is.
However, they're going to go 1-16 with Brissett, with May. Who cares? Let's get the number 1 draft pick and let's control the draft. Trade it out, get a bunch of draft picks, whatever. But Jesus, can we get a friggin' left tackle?
We got to build the whole line. So all right.
All right, boys. All right. Send those pepperoni pizzas over. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you later. Thanks for the call from Douglas, Massachusetts.
Pete from Douglas.
Pete from Douglas.
Good friend of the show.
Excellent. So 2 callers back to back as well. We called out Greg earlier, but he didn't call in. So it's I mean, just the
phone lines were ringing while Pete was on. So.
Yeah. So if
the intern's off today.
Yes. So yeah, phone lines are open, as they say. 766-1240. Yeah, absolute miserable loss last week, and I think this also leads to the Drake May starting. In a perfect world, and we've played this game a lot. They beat Cincinnati. Where they probably shouldn't have. We do have another call on the line.
Setting records.
Setting a record. And welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, it's Jake Marcus from Alcock and Marcus.
Jake Marcus, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right. What's on your mind, Jake?
I wanted to talk about the how Gerard Mayo kind of decides to use Drake May. I know with Belichick it was kind of a short leash with the QB, kind of open up the game with shorter passes. But the last caller mentioned Drake May being kind of a larger arm. So, assuming he can even get time, do you envision they kind of open up the passing game a little more with Drake May?
I think personally they're gonna. I'm thinking back to early Drew Bledsoe throwing to Ben Coates. I think you're going to see early Drake May throwing to Hunter Henry, utilizing him as like the safety net, like Brady used Gronk. I'm not saying that Hunter Henry's as good as Coates or Gronk, but a nice little safety net. Throw to some running backs, Gibson maybe coming out of the backfield. I know there's no Stevenson this week. And then see if one of those receivers that Drake May has been working out with, and I heard that he's been spending some extra time after practices with his receivers, hopefully has developed some chemistry with at least one of them to see if we can get one of those in single coverage and just see if there is a deep ball out there. And again, we are just completely lowered our expectations, and we're just hoping to see something productive, because I honestly think that Jacoby Brissett actually played himself out of the position with last week's loss to Miami. Pat, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think he gives him a better option of getting outside of the pocket and using his feet a little bit more than Brissett did. And I think he can throw on the run. So, but yeah, I could see them working the inside with the tight ends and then, trying to get something open. I mean, the issue is wide receivers getting open.
Right.
That's been an issue for several years now. And I don't know if that's going to change instantly overnight, but I'm sure he has a receiver that he feels more comfortable with, whether it be Douglas or
Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, I'm not even sure who's on the injured list.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm interested to see how they use him. I don't think they're gonna have a short leash on him. That's for sure. I do think try to open up the playbook a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's Drake May's job for the rest of the year, barring injury, To be honest with you, I think they're just going to throw him out there and just try to develop him now as a quarterback. He had the first third of the season off, and just try to work with him now.
I saw in the preseason game, he got one pass to Javon Baker that was Javon Baker dropped it. But
that's right.
I would love to see them use him a little more.
That was versus Philadelphia.
Yeah,
I was at that game.
So if again, hopefully he's developing some sort of chemistry with some of the younger receivers, somebody that he can develop with. I really did not see Jacoby develop any chemistry with anybody. Maybe Hunter Henry in that one game. But I think they start off safe, like I mentioned earlier. So,
and maybe these guys are fired up to play with him. I think that and that sounds like what's coming out of the locker room now. These guys are kind of excited again.
Yeah. I mean, by all accounts, you didn't hear a bad word about Jacoby, but I also heard that they are excited to play with the kid. So I'm glad there's no bad blood between the quarterback. There's no locker room division.
That might be just like the eye test at practice.
Yeah.
Like this kid he's better than Brissett. Why isn't he playing?
Right. And take the kid. All the other rookie quarterbacks are playing. I think that's part of it too. And now they've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So
definitely. And then I think I do think they start out a little bit more conservative. Use Antonio Gibson a lot. Use Demario Douglas over the middle a lot. Hunter Henry, absolutely correct there. But love the show.
Thanks, Jake.
It's good to see you, Pat.
You too.
We'll be in touch.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. Jake from State Farm calling in. All right, when we come back, we'll have a final segment. We'll finish up on the Patriots. We'll jump into the Bruins, who started their season this week. So we will be back on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, OneSocketRadio.com right after these messages.
First news and best variety of music. ON 1240.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasket Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasket Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TasketBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasket Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. Sam and Tina at Ollie's Pizzeria are so grateful for all the customers who voted them gold for Best Pizza in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley. Ollie's Pizzeria, where quality ingredients, expert craftsmanship, and a cozy ambiance come together to redefine your pizza cravings. Order online at Ollie'sPizzeriaRI.com. Ollie's Pizzeria, 204 South Main Street, Woonsocket, on the corner of Front Street and South Main. Ollie's Pizzeria, one of the best of the Blackstone Valley.
They can diagnose and repair just about anything at State Line Service. From tires and alignments and front-end work on all makes of cars and trucks up to 1 ton to smaller items like brakes, starters, struts, exhausts, radiators, timing belts, and high-speed balance. State Line Service is a third-generation family-owned business, up to date with the latest technology. They believe in clear, honest communication with their clients. No double talk, no pressure. State Line Service, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. State Line Service.
Looking to beautify your property this fall? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Looking to beautify your home this fall? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful-looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
Southeastern Massachusetts' premier baseball and softball facility is Triborough Diamond Sports Academy, located at 445 East Washington Street, conveniently off of Route 1 in North Attleboro. Whether you're looking to put in some individual work in or out of season, or looking for an indoor home for your team during the fall and winter seasons, DSA has you covered. Come to DSA for personalized and group instruction, batting tunnel and pitching mound rentals, team facility rentals, camps, captain's practices, and so much more. Contact Triborough Diamond Sports Academy at 508-316-1702 or via the web at triboroughDSA.com.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And this week's special at Michael's Meats, they got boneless pork spare ribs for $3.88 a pound at Michael's Meats. Open Columbus Day, 9 to 2. And welcome back here at the Cheap Seats here with Pat and Kevin. And it's Autumn Fest weekend. And we will be at Autumn Fest. If you want to come down and say hi to us, and we'll be selling some buttons and all sorts of things for our WOON. We'll be there 3 to 5 on Sunday and 1 to 3 on Monday. So stop in, say hi at Autumn Fest and beautiful weather. I'd like to thank the weather makers for giving us great weather this weekend. So we'll be down there 3 to 5 and 1 to 3. 3 to 5 on Sunday, 1 to 3. Thank you to Moose, Pete, and Jake for calling in so far. Last segment here, Pat. Pivot over to the Bruins.
Yeah,
they started off, the season. Lost to Florida, best team in the league. Lost to them 6-4. Beat Montreal, worst team in the league, in my opinion, or close to it. Also 6-4. The two 6-4 games had slightly different feels. The 6-4 loss felt like they were never really in it. They got back to within the 2 where they could pull the goalie, and that was the final. Then they're up 5-2 against Montreal, and next thing you know, it's 5-4. However, 17 seconds later, they do score to make it 6-4. But that game was a little bit tighter than maybe it should have been. Early pluses and minuses through 2 games for the Bruins. Your pluses and minuses, not their.
Yeah, it's like a tale of 2 games with some similar instances, right? I think they came out, they looked really slow against Florida.
Yeah.
I think Florida obviously raising the banner, little pep in their step.
Oh, they were out shooting them 12-1 at one point.
In front of their home crowd.
Yeah.
I just feel like when they play Florida, they get out of their own game.
Florida's in their head.
You get like you said, you got Tkachuk, who he's a guy that you hate, but you love
to have him on the team.
To have him on my team, but I hate him. I think
the Brad Marchand.
I made reference in a text to you that night. Like I'd love to see someone just beat the bag out of him right now. And
yeah, and he's not going to take the bait though.
No, he doesn't.
When Trent Frederick goes after him, or even Pasta, he's not going to take the bait.
And then versus Montreal, they came out flying. I mean, they came out flying versus Montreal. They went up. They were out shooting them 2-1. But on the defensive end, I think it's because they've gotten a lot bigger. They're a little bit slower.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of players getting in behind them. There's a lot of quick backdoor tap ins at.
Was it the second Montreal goal? He was standing. It looked like Montreal was on the power play, and I forgot who scored it. He's just standing right there on the left side of the crease to Swayman's right, and he's just standing there with he just put it at home. And I looked at the clock to see if Montreal was on the power play or a 5-on-3. I'm like, oh, that's a 5-on-5.
And Florida had 3 of those.
Yes.
Where
against Corpusalo, and I don't think Corpusalo played as bad as the score indicated. No. I do think he had a couple soft goals.
Yeah, he had some issues with rebound control.
Yes, for sure.
I thought Swayman played fairly well. He made some good saves. I don't think any of those goals were really his fault. He had no
Yeah. Were you surprised to see that Swayman got the ovation he got? I was wondering if you'd get booed.
Oh, no,
you weren't surprised.
Was I surprised? No, I wasn't surprised. I think everyone wanted him here. I think everyone wanted the Bruins to pay. We've had this talk a little bit that even though they signed to the 8.25, the cap hit percentage is much smaller than it was when they signed Tuukka Rask to his deal.
Yeah, I think you brought up when Tuukka signed, and he ate up about 11% of the cap.
11% of the total cap.
And Swayman's eating up about 9%. So that's real interesting because the cap changes every year and it keeps going up. So his cap hit, and if he's taken 10 and change this year, and his average annual is 8.25. His cap hit is actually going to be a lower percentage year after year.
Correct.
So in theory, it's a
in
team
year 4,
friendly.
Year 5, it's his
team-friendlier
team-friendlier.
contract. And then you look and see over in Ottawa, Linus Ullmark, 7 years older than Swayman, just signed a 4-year extension for the exact same money that Swayman got.
Yep.
People joke that he should have taken $1 more just so you can have that one up and ship on Swayman. But again, for those of you out there, and I haven't heard this too much, but for those that said, oh, they should have kept both goalies. Well, now you'd be on the hook for 16.5,
that wasn't going to happen. That's
which is
why
not, which is now I guess.
And they both wanted to play 55 games,
right?
which
and that would have been 18% of the salary.
Right. So
yeah, you're right, and that's the other point. Both want 55 games, which is basically 3 out of every 5 games.
Doesn't
so
work.
it does not work.
Is it ideal for the Bruins? No, because they have less flexibility to go. I mean, they still have a little bit of concern and scoring depth.
Scoring depth, and I do think defense. I don't think Swayman will bail you out. He's got about 92% save percentage, so he's going to give up his goals. Yep. And the defense has been. I'm nervous. Carlo had a tough year last year. He's at $5.5 million. Yep. It's a lot of money, and he's off to a tough start this year.
I just mentioned to you, someone had a good take on McAvoy, who's has 2 goals in the first 2 games. He had 12 all season last year. Seems to be an effort for him to get up into the offensive zone and shoot the puck more. So I think they probably asked him to don't worry about the defensive end as much. They paired him with Zadorov, so you might see that have to play itself out over the course of the next 10 games.
And to his credit, because and I just pulled up the stats right now on McAvoy, because they have given up 10 goals on the year. McAvoy in 2 games has 2 goals, has an assist. He has a +2.
Yeah.
On the season, and Cole, I don't know, how do you say his last name? Koepke. Koepke, he's a +4. I'm a little nervous that someone like Charlie Coyle is a -4. Again, I don't want to rush the judgment here, but -4 is tough to start the year with no points and 2 penalty
the first
minutes.
2 games, outside of the power play,
right?
That first line has been pretty invisible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a concern because you got Pasternak, Coyle, and Zacha. And outside of the power play or shorthanded, Zacha has I think he has a power play goal and a shorthanded goal, but so that's a concern.
I mean, we brought up Carlo, and so he's looking at his stats. He does have 2 assists in the year. He's a -1. I was surprised to see Trent Frederick, as good a game as he had against Florida, and I think he was the only one that had a good game against Florida, which is probably the reason why he stood out to me. I don't think he had that good of a game against Montreal. He's a -3 on the year. And again, he was probably the best player on the ice for Boston against Florida. So it's
But yeah, I mean, I usually give it the first 10 games. And let's have a deep. There are people. I mean, listen to the other stations, and there are people out there calling for Montgomery's head already.
Oh, come on.
It's the second game of the season. Now, granted, he's in the last year of his deal.
Right.
They haven't locked him up, and he's a coach that probably has the most regular season wins.
Yes.
In the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. No. His winning percentage is great. I'm not calling for his head.
They played what? They play today.
Yeah. I envision Korpisalo being back in net today.
Yep.
And they play Florida on Monday.
Again on Monday
at home, and I foresee Swayman.
Swayman will be in there.
And then they hit the road for a 3-game road trip. After that, they're going to go to Colorado on Wednesday. Then their first trip to Utah a week from today, and then they wrap up the road trip in Nashville 10 days from today. And speaking of wrapping up, we need to wrap things up here on Autumn Fest weekend. If you get the opportunity, the weather is absolutely perfect. Head on down to Autumn Fest in downtown Woonsocket. Stop by. Pat and I will be there Sunday from 3 to 5 and on Monday from 1 to 3. And, again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our sponsors. And thank you. We set a record, 3 callers. Woohoo. All right. Love it. Thank you, Moose and Pete and Jake. And really appreciate it. And thank you all for listening. You're into the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin here on 99.5 FM 1240 AM and WoonsocketRadio.com. Enjoy this fabulous Columbus Day weekend.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park